It's always something, Diana, isn't it?
I came to you to
It
ask
wasn't
you,
enough.
Lisa. Stop it.
It wasn't enough. No, don't be stop it. It's
Listen,
always something. Backstage is never good enough for you.
part of the team, I came to you. That's it.
How about this? Do whatever you want. How's that? Oh, I'll be in a good mood because I do this every night. Glued some makeup and some glue on that puppet.
You're the one deciding what you want me to do.
I'm so not fighting with you. Just shut up, okay?
You're the one deciding what you want me to do.
It made me upset because all I do with Lisa is treat her better than she treats other people, and she still has no decency or respect.
We're talking about Celebrity Apprentice Season 12, Episode 10. Today we're going to be covering Arsenio says everything is better with boobs.
Lisa makes Dayana cry.
Lisa whines and cries in the boardroom.
Who is slower, Teresa or Paul?
Lisa gives Dayana nothing to do again.
Paul Sr. is sexist.
Aubrey becomes a team player.
Is Lisa bipolar?
So let's get right into it. Why do you think Lisa didn't let Dayana do anything? Or she says she let her do something, but she didn't let her become a puppeteer. Do you think that she was right in doing that?
No, she didn't let her do anything, actually. She just told her, oh, I'm going to keep you busy by making the puppets. But I feel like this is all her tactic to try to get rid of Dayana, because she thinks that Dayana is worthless. She thinks Dayana, just because she's a model, she doesn't know how to do anything. She's not creative at all. She's not, maybe because she's young. I don't know. But I personally feel like Dayana's really smart when she puts her mind to it, and she wins tasks, when she puts her mind to it. It's not like, I don't remember, the last task that she did she win? Oh, no, she didn't win last time. But the time before that, she did win. And I feel like...
Lisa didn't win a whole bunch of times either.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And the only reason why she won this time is because, a small error on the other side.
I don't think it's even that Lisa thinks she's useless. I think Lisa wants Dayana to become useless, and that's what I feel like. She's trying to make her useless, in a way.
Because she wants to get rid of her. That's what she wants. She feels like, oh, only her and Aubrey should be the left people on this whole stupid show.
So it backfired on her. But, I mean, in terms of, like, the accent thing, do you think that Dayana...
No, I don't think Dayana has a bad accent at all. I understand her very clearly. I've heard people who have worse accents, okay?
And, anyway, the voices that they were making were funny. I mean, like, I think the audience would have accepted that. I think that's just Lisa's racism, like, oh, she has an accent, so she can't do a puppeteer. I think that's fair. I mean, I think in this day and age, like, people who have accents work and do everything that everyone else does. I mean, just because you have an accent doesn't really mean anything these days.
She said the same thing about Lou. She said that Lou is not understandable either, and so is Dayana. Apparently, everybody to her is not understandable except for her and Aubrey.
Dude, no one even understands Lisa, so it's okay.
Yeah.
So do you think Aubrey's become a team player this time around? That she was kind of like, in the beginning, she was acting like she was all nervous, and then, like, she started kind of, like, being a better team player, I felt, because she found her sneaky ways of saying what she wants to say, but in a more diplomatic way.
Yeah, I definitely feel like she's learning how to be diplomatic, and I feel like she's learning how to be a team player. Maybe in the beginning she was just kind of overwhelmed and excited to kind of get out there and, throw her ideas out and, be the top gun and show everybody who's boss. But now I feel like now that she's in the game and she's set, she wants to kind of, she wants to show that she's a nice person, and she just wants to, she wants to win Mr. Trump over, basically, But, I mean, I still like her. Like, even though despite, like, how much of a, bitch she was the last few episodes, I feel like she's really growing on me, even though, like, she's really smart and really creative, and she's young and bright, so, like, everybody else is kind of, like, older and more laid back, but, like, she's has a lot of energy, and I respect that in her, Like,
yeah, I think it's funny because as much as, like, I don't like the way Aubrey does certain things, I mean, I do feel like she does have a good head on her shoulders. She's smart and she's spunky, and I think, like, the situation that we see in Celebrity Apprentice, it reminds me a lot of work, like, where there's, like, the workplace where there's all old people and they're all laid back and they don't like young people to make any decisions.
Yeah,
or,
they don't like
not all of them, but, like, a lot of times you see that in the workplace.
And you always see
and the young kids have to kind of fight for their opinions.
Yeah, and you always see that the young people always have all these ideas and all these opinions, and then they always have to keep their mouths shut just because the old people, oh, this is the way we've been doing it for 30 years. Like, so I feel like everybody's mad at her kind of just because she's so creative and she has so many ideas, and she's not that easy. It's not easy for her to just sit back and be quiet like Dayana does sometimes,
So what do you think is it?
She's more, she's more outspoken, than anybody else,
All right, let's move on. What do you think of the improvs by Clay and Lisa? Remember Clay and Lisa?
Honestly, I really enjoyed their show a lot. Like, even though as much as I hate Lisa, I thought it was really funny. I think Clay was actually much more funnier than Lisa. Lisa wasn't that funny.
And that's funny because Lisa is the big comedian, and she's been a comedian for 50,000 years, and Penn has been a comedian for 70,000 years, and that's why she made them. Yet Clay outshined all of them, and Penn was one of the weakest points the executives thought was that he sat around and he missed the cues. You remember? Yeah. And they thought that the two weakest things that the executives said was, number one, Penn missed the cues, and number two, the sexual stuff went too far. And that was Lisa's doing, and that was Penn's doing. And Clay outshined them all. So it's funny how people say that, that's why when she put Dayana to the side thinking, oh, I am the comedian. I've been a comedian for 50,000 years. Since 1921, I was a comedian, so I should be the comedian today. I mean, come on, like, relax, dude. Give people a chance. It's not about you being a comedian, it's about teamwork, and it's about giving people a chance.
And I love how she's always talking about telling Dayana, oh, I don't like it when people don't respect the backstage work as opposed to the front being on stage. Why don't you be in backstage then? If you're so respectful and so you think so highly of working backstage and creating puppets, why don't you be backstage then?
Right? True.
I don't get it. Like, if you feel like that's just as much as working front stage, why don't you be backstage then? And let somebody else take. No, but she always wants to be the creator. She always wants to be the person that's in front of the camera. Always. She never wants to be behind the camera.
What about Teresa's side with Paul Sr.? Who do you think was more slow, Teresa or Paul?
No, Paul was definitely really. I mean, Teresa, she's a little ditzy and slow, but Paul was definitely, dude. Like, he needed to go to a senior home. Like, I don't know what his problem was. Like, he was just like. Sipping his iced coffee, like he wasn't doing anything. Okay, you have back pain, take some Tylenol and call it a day, dude. Come on.
I have to say, Teresa was funny at the end when Paul, in the boardroom, Paul calls her slow, and then she was like, if anybody's slow, it's you, which is kind of true. It's kind of like, she calls him out. But, I mean, Teresa did mess up a lot of stuff. I mean, I think Paul overall.
She tried, though. Like, she really tried. Like, I feel like she really did try, even though she was slow and she wasn't getting it a lot of times, but she tried. Just like what Aubrey said, she really she learned something that she could never ever know how to do, and I give her respect for that, even though she didn't do an amazing job. I don't think Paul would have ever knew how to do that, ever,
So yeah, I mean, I think who do you think the highlight of their improv was? It was definitely Arsenio Hall.
Oh, yeah. Arsenio Hall was really, really funny, for sure.
He did a dentist, a Norwegian dentist. I don't know how he did that, but he did it. It was hilarious. Aubrey was really good at the cues. Definitely, she was a good host. She was very on point, and that really helped the. But even though they lost, though, that's what gets me. They still lost.
I think they probably did lose because of Teresa, because she wasn't as good being on stage. But I still give her credit. But also the downfall is that it was a lot of it had to do with the costume being made, and that was also on Paul's shoulders. Like, at least he could have made the costumes, but he didn't want to do anything. He let them do everything.
Yeah, I know you tried to say at the end of the boardroom that her costume was all like she messed it up, but at the same time he's a project manager.
It was all her that made it. So why didn't you take charge of making costumes then?
Yeah, I think. There was no question. If anyone was to be fired, it was Paul, I think, if their team lost. What about Lisa? So Lisa Lampanelli makes Dayana Mendoza cry, and then Lisa starts crying also. So they get into this thing where I think Clay kind of started it off, and he was like, okay, well, Clay mentions to Lisa, well, why don't we make Dayana do something, get on stage somehow, some way? And then Dayana starts asking her, yeah, what should I do? And then Lisa just loses it on her and says, how about this? Why don't you do whatever the F you want? She's just like, I mean, what is that? You're the project manager. Why don't you tell her what she needs to be doing, So
I disagree. I really, really like despise her.
And Dayana starts crying, the poor baby.
I feel bad for her. Like I feel like she's always being stepped on by Lisa, and she's always trying to be nice to her. And in the end, I felt bad because after they won, she kind of like hugged her and said, "See, you won," and she like said congratulations. And like if it were me, dude, I would have walked the hell away from her, dude. I would have been like, I would have went up to Mr. Trump, said I don't want to be on her team.
Well, no, she can't do that because then she won't be seen as a team player. But I think Dayana is being really nice. You can't. You gotta. Yeah, but you look stupid. You gotta suck it up. But I think Dayana is being really nice with Lisa, and she even says it at the end. She really is like, Lisa is getting everyone to be as nice as possible to her, and she's not giving a crap. And she's still being nasty.
I can't wait for somebody to flip on her, like Arsenio. He flipped on her, but I can't wait for somebody to flip on her.
Well, Arsenio has Aubrey to deal with, and I don't think anyone's gonna flip on Lisa. I think the only one's gonna stand up to Lisa is gonna be Dayana. The guys,
Dayana or Teresa might stand up to her.
Nah, I don't think so. Teresa, I think she's trying to slide by. I mean, I don't know. With Teresa, I'm a little confused about her because I know that she can step up to Lisa, but she's not. But if she has to, I think she will. So I don't know. It would be awesome. But
she'll flip a table on her ass for sure.
I would love Teresa to really give her a few words. But no one has been able to really, there was never really any like combat or arguing between Lisa and Teresa. That would have been the perfect matchup. And then Lisa, what pisses me off about this is like after she makes Dayana cry, she's like gets all mad at the guys. Like, why don't you back me up? Like, why don't you back me up as if Dayana is some girl from the streets that came and beat her up or something? Like, they're on a team. And if I were the guys too, I would have been like, stayed out. I mean, most guys want to stay out of it. Like, and even Penn himself admitted he said that she was just being really, unpleasant. So he didn't want to be involved. I mean, she wants to tear everyone up and then have the guys back her up as well. Like, what is Dayana like? It's just the way she treats her.
Why does she think that everybody has to back her up? Like, what if I don't agree with you? Like, it just doesn't make sense. And then she's going and she's telling off Arsenio Hall. Okay, she's telling him off, saying, "Oh, you're gonna put a bad reputation for yourself, because to all women." Yet she's actually putting a bad reputation to herself, for everybody, for all mankind, for crying out loud, And also, I just wanted to mention, like, I was really like shocked when she was like crying like in the boardroom to Mr. Trump, and just like what Dayana said, "Hoo, Mr. Trump, hoo." That's exactly what she did. She was crying to Mr. Trump, and it was so fake, dude. She was so like it was all bullshit. Like, she was like crying and like, "Ooh, I don't want to make girls cry, and I'm a comedian and blah blah blah." Oh, please, you hurt people for a living, dude. That's what comedians do. They freaking hurt people for a living. They don't make people laugh. They hurt people. They diss people for a living. You go to any comedy club, you sit down, you're gonna get dissed. That's for sure. That's what happens. So don't tell me, "Oh, I don't want to make girls cry."
She's been making every single person cry. Now she says she doesn't want people to cry. And what gets me is that everyone knows that she's called Dayana a racial slur off the show, and yet she thinks she doesn't want to make her cry, and she's so emotional. Come on, like, she's playing two cards, and Dayana said it. Her problem is, and it's Lisa, she changes. That's what Dayana said, and that's why she doesn't trust her. Like, she flips on you. Like, first you're calling me a racial slur, then you're flipping on me, yelling at me, cursing at me, and then you're crying, saying, "Oh, I don't want to make girls cry." It does sound a little bipolar to me.
She's bipolar and she's menopausing. That's what's wrong with her. And she's mad because Dayana's freaking beautiful and she's not. Okay, that's it.
So what was with her crying in the boardroom? You think it was fake?
Of course it was fake. I just said it was fake. Of course it was fake. Another thing I wanted to mention was Aubrey, when after Lisa started crying and saying, "Oh, I'm not going to bring anybody back if I lose, because I feel like I should be the one to go, and like, because everybody did good, whatever." And then I felt like when Aubrey was like, "Oh," even though Aubrey's on the other team, she was like, "No, you're not gonna leave, Lisa. You're staying, Lisa." I felt like that was kind of disloyal, Like, I mean, I'm surprised Mr. Trump didn't pick up on that. Like, it's probably because he really likes Aubrey or whatever. But like, I felt like it was unfair, that like like Aubrey said that. I mean, I don't understand her loyalty and her so far up Lisa's ass attitude. Like, I don't understand. Like, you're your own person. Why are you so, like, do you really love her that much? Like, that like,
I guess they've connected, you know. Apparently, since the beginning of the show, it was Lisa, Aubrey, and Debbie. They were this team, and they were attacking everyone. I think it just lasted throughout the show. You have to find a buddy sometimes when you're, you know, at war, and you find someone that you need to, you know, kind of like like bond with, and I think that's what they're doing. Yeah, that's what it is.
I know it's kind of bad, but I kind of want to see, you know, them conflict a little bit.
That won't happen. But what I would worry if I were Teresa. If I were Teresa, I'd get ready because they will turn on her in a second, and I think she needs to get ready. I think she knows that.
Ready. Teresa will be ready. Don't worry.
So what's the deal with Paul bringing back Arsenio Hall? Like, is he sexist? I have to say. I mean, why did he bring back? Why, when he, you know, was he asked who he was going to bring back? Because we know Paul's team lost, and the weakest player was Arsenio, but he doesn't believe so.
No, he wanted to save him, babe. That's the bottom line. He was lying to Mr. Trump. Mr. Trump was like, "Oh, do you just want to save him because he's your buddy?" And he was like, "No." But it's true. He did want to save him. Everybody wants to save their best friends. Just like last time, it was it was supposed to be Aubrey that was supposed to be back, and instead, I don't remember who, but they brought back Teresa and Dayana or something, and it was supposed to be Aubrey. It was something like that.
I think Lisa was right, though, in the assessment of the strategy. If he brought back Arsenio and Teresa, they all would have teamed up against Teresa, and she would have been gone. Or maybe Arsenio wouldn't have. Who knows? But he brought back Aubrey and Teresa, who Aubrey was kind of staying out of it. And when he decided to bring her back, Aubrey, you know, of course, they're all going to team up against Paul. But I think Aubrey was pretty honest with it, you know. And Paul really deserved to go. So Paul Sr. gets fired. This episode was decent. I mean, I can't wait till next episode. I want to see Dayana tell off Lisa really good, but I don't think she will because she has class. But what are your predictions? So let's finalize the predictions.
I'm hoping Lisa gets fired, dude. I'm praying. I can't wait till she gets fired. I will throw a party that day. Like, I just can't stand it.
I see being between Clay. The game, it's at anyone's game at this point. There's Dayana, there's Lisa, there's Aubrey, and there's Clay. I feel like Penn and Teresa are gonna go at some point.
Penn and Teresa are definitely gonna go, and I feel like it's gonna get down to like what you said. Yeah. I think even Arsenio might go too.
Yeah. All right. So who's your best character today of Celebrity Apprentice?
My favorite is Dayana and Clay. Clay's really growing on me. I really like him. I feel like he says the truth. He's not scared of anybody. And Dayana, I feel like she's really starting to grow some, you know what?
The task is a live puppet show for adults. Did you ever know that something like that existed? A live puppet show for adults?
I wish I can go to something like that.
I'll leave you with Arsenio's last quote, which he says, "Everything's better with boobs." Take care. Bye.
Oh, yeah.